good morning, good evening, good afternoon. No matter time it is, just know today is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. As always, man, God is good as He is good all the time, y'all. So, without further ado, you see from this motherfucking title, we getting into some Andrew Tate nonsense, all right, y'all. So, for those who are of a greater maturity level, you know what I'm saying? Those who don't like to listen to this nonsense, forgive me. I'm putting it out there for you, okay? We put it out there for you. I apologize in the beginning, you know. It is what it is. This is what we're doing. Let me get some motherfucking light going. You know what I'm saying? Bam. And then, but you know what? I got to start it off with some motherfucking music, y'all. So without further ado, let's get into this music.
Country radio.
Kuba fana homuri etseninga gari zande meye mubimbaze uyu muziki warambabaje imani himbazwe dore nabaye icyamamare Go melody shira mimiyaga nakubisa amastage mu Rwanda mubaze ni mahanga baranzi uriya nje nakuriye i Kanombe kujya mu ndege mbyumva nk'ibihuha nuko rishara Nigeria mbere irantwara ingezi Kampala Entebbe mico the best warakoze kunjyana muri super level name Mushoma Joseph warakoze wamaye akazi n'ubura cyamenya iyi miziki ndacyayikora nejo bundi njyewe ndacyayikora
That's why they sit here and say, like, you can't stand in the middle of a movie theater and yell out, fire! And there's no fire. You could actually be held accountable for that. See time in jail. That's not protected by your First Amendment speech. And all the dude yelled was, fire! That's it.
PhD, we had to practice if a girl comes at you, you cheated, you cheating. It's bang out the machete, boom in her face.
And to be honest, all you need is a legitimate lawyer, because if you got a good enough lawyer, you will never see a day served in prison if you commit a crime out of duress. That's all I'm going to say there. So if you think that it's okay for you to go out here cheating, even though you know that it's going to have a detrimental effect on somebody's motherfucking mental and emotional. Just saying. That girl get a good enough lawyer. You know what I'm saying? She asked Jesus to help her out. She getting off. Because duress is actually something that is looked at as like, okay, well, it's what they consider like a mitigating factor. You are under duress. It's like mental capacity. If you're not in the right state of mind, can you really be held accountable? You better stop cheating on people.
You grip her up.
Be done dead somewhere while that person living their life free ain't in jail or prison.
By the neck. Like, shut up, bitch! Her panties get wet. Machete's on the floor. Her panties are all wet. You go, fuck her. That's how it goes. Slap, slap, grab, choke, shut up, bitch, sex.
I feel like majority of his like following has to be like children and immature. Like, look at these niggas over here giggling. Like some little girls. Like, look at this.
These are the basic moves.
Hey, look, he's wrong.
No, he's wrong.
But it's funny, but he's still wrong.
I would not take what he's saying serious. The crazy part about it, these are things. I want to be clear as well to the people out there. These are the things that Forbes is.
Have you ever beat a woman before?
So then that was the other thing. That there is a clip running around. We can't show it because it's pretty brutal. Mm-hmm. That he slapped a woman and then
he actually did it.
No, wait, but then it was later revealed that he said it was a sexual kink thing that they did.
Oh.
And then she also confirmed that as well.
Oh.
It's something that's been going on for a while.
Fuck did someone get a video of them?
That's also what he says as well. Why would I, as somebody she's trying to hide me being someone who's willing to bop women, would allow somebody to record it while we're sitting here doing it and not know that he's recording me?
But you could tell when you're slapping someone sexually though. It's not the same thing. Like if I'm choking someone sexually, you could tell when it's a real choke and a sexual choke. They're different types of chokes.
I mean, well, it wasn't like they were in mid-sex. They was like almost. This is what they said.
Were they in public?
Apparently, no, this is in private as well. This is not public.
What the fuck? Okay, whatever.
So that right there also dispels that concept as well. And then here's the last one where it says women should be controlled. You put the imprint on them. You know what I'm saying?
I'll blow up the internet. I'll blow up the internet right fucking now. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25-year-olds is because they've been through less dick. I don't give a shit. People will sit there and go, oh, you can't say that. Yes, I can. A 19-year-old is more attractive than a 26-year-old woman because that 26-year-old has talked to more guys, been to the club more times, been more places, been fucked and dumped more times, more arguments, more heartbreak, more bullshit, more mess for me to clean up. Whereas a 19-year-old might have had one guy from high school, just broke up, she's fresh, and I can fucking put my imprint on her, make her a good person, and without her having to go through all that detriment.
So, if a woman were to say those same words that she would get with a young dude because she could put her imprint on him, he's been through less vag, less heartbreak, the whole shebang. Many of us wouldn't even view that as like something that's worth romanticizing. And it's because of double standards. And that's why we're in this predicament now, because people are pissy. They're like, why ban Andrew Tate for things that he said, but not in these instances? And the thing is because that is how society is set. Society is a double standard. It's a huge double standard, right? Males kill people all the time. They assault people. They rape people all the time. Commit homicides all the time, right? They abandon their children. It's actually pretty common for a guy to be a deadbeat. However, the amount of time that dude will spend in jail or prison for the violent crimes that he's committed, and even the opinions that people have of him as a deadbeat dad, they just be like, oh, he's a deadbeat dad, no good, nigga, da, and they keep it moving. But the punishment for those violent crimes would be pretty minute. So like a man who is convicted of homicide could potentially see 10 plus years in prison, right? We'll say probably like 10 to 20 years, depending on how, severe the situation is. Yet we've seen where women be incarcerated for dang near life for killing someone because it goes against how society views women: docile, nonviolent, nurturers. So when you do something that steps outside of how society views you, they're like, oh, and then the repercussions are extreme. It's like the young girl who was like 15, 16 years old when she had killed her human trafficker, her rapist. You know what I'm saying? Her dude mother freaking stole her, kidnapped her, and was mother freaking causing harm to her, assaulting her, and she killed him. And that girl stayed in jail or in prison for all that time. And I remember that here it is, she a grown woman, and she's spending time in jail because she murdered someone who was causing harm to her. But if a dude did it, I mean, we've seen it where George Zimmerman killed a black child and he was able to claim self-defense. Now, yes, there's factors that are very different in all these things. One, location and gender, who committed the crime, the time that they did it, and the age and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, guys who inflict harm upon guys, it's passed aside. No repercussions really come from it because it's guys just being guys. But when females do these same things, they're harshly penalized. I mean, even when it comes to offenses that are children related, like truancy. Truancy is a crime that adults will never and can never be penalized for. However, children can, which basically means that you're skipping school. You're not in school when you're supposed to be, right? A boy gets caught skipping school, participating in truancy. And yeah, he may be penalized, but he probably get this suspension or something like that. A girl who is penalized, she goes through the PINS program, and next thing you know, they dragging her through the criminal justice system because they're like, whoa, you got to be a very troubled individual to be out here doing all this extra stuff. So I say all that to say, like, this is society, and we've created it like this. This is why women can put hands on dudes and no one takes it serious, because look how Andrew Tate was sitting here talking about, oh, a female got a machete, and she's, His thought process, what he is saying, I don't know if he really thinks this, but the things that he is saying is how majority society views women. Incapable of causing harm unto a man. Like, some chick coming at you with a machete. You just slap the machete out her hand, slap her. But when a guy gets beat on by a woman because she's actually capable of hurting the dude, and then dude reports it or something, he's made a mockery of, he's made fun of. Why? Because they're like, dude, how are you a man getting beat on by a woman? And here go the double standards. So you can't cry and complain about something that you males created. At least when it comes to the United States of America, the United States of America ain't nothing but a mother freaking regurgitation of the UK. Our penal system, the names of our streets, everything that we do, we done pulled from Great Britain. I mean, the founding fathers came from over there. They were immigrants, came here and created the United States, right? These niggas created the mess, and now y'all complaining about the double standards. Then change it. Laughing with niggas like this ain't helping you. This is why dudes is getting freaking beat on by females who is capable of beating on dudes, because y'all continue to want to view women as docile, nurturing, kind individuals and incapable of violence. And then you got that one woman that's motherfucking falling through the cracks because y'all too blind to see it. You don't want to give recognition where it's due. You don't want to give acknowledgement where it's due. That's why women be out here committing crimes and y'all niggas just don't know anything. Women been doing stuff forever and y'all niggas just don't know anything. A lot of y'all think women cheat more than dudes because y'all idiots get caught all the time. When society has mother freaking suppressed you to the point where you're like almost always concealed, nigga. You could literally commit crime right up under the noses of niggas. You could literally cheat in a nigga's face without them seeing it. Why? Because they don't expect you to do it anyways. Y'all ain't never heard of that black woman who was motherfucking, she is known as a jewel thief? This lady right here, Doris Payne. They had a documentary called The Life and Crimes of Doris Payne, which in that film is available. However, this woman, she stole jewelry from some of the finest jewelry salons. And she's done this for years. Look at this. She's most famous for pulling off a scam in Monte Carlo in the 1970s. The jewel thief made off with a 10-carat diamond ring valued at more than $500,000. Why? Because she's a woman. No one expects her to commit any of this. And then, in additional, she black. So she just escapes right under your nose and you don't know anything. She does it right in your motherfucking face. Why? Because she has a motherfucking vagina. Y'all do it to yourself. You want change the way the society motherfucking interprets women.
Yeah, no.
Andrew Tate's going to make her a good person. It's cap.
So
Andrew Tate is gonna be the reason that she ends up putting up barriers and walls with the next person.
So those are the three clips that Forbes is referencing. I think a lot of people are referencing as well and trying to like show an example. Personally, I believe
this is the clip he was most wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, but in my opinion, there's definitely much worse. There's the grape, where as a woman she bears some responsibility for being great, but it's like very like misleading in what it's saying.
See, victim blaming.
Yeah, when it comes to graping. So yeah, so like there are several other ones that are worse. Those are the ones that stood out the most, where a lot of people who are activists or want to be activists and went towards Facebook, IG, got a couple of companies backing behind them, and then they basically told them like, hey man, like this guy is dangerous, take him down. So I'm gonna say this: every single time you may agree with Andrew Tate, he'd be like, oh, you agree with him? Whoa, like as if like what he can't say can't have some truth behind it. Personally speaking, I understand the concept of deplatforming Andrew Tate. If he violates TOS, then I mean this is what's going to have to happen. A lot of people sitting there saying, freedom of speech, but the reality is that all of these platforms, they have TOS for a reason. And if you break those terms of services, then you potentially will be deplatformed or banned from these services. That they believe that he broke TOS, which I could see somebody coming to that conclusion. Then okay, I mean that is.
The thing is that it's not even a matter of terms of whatever the terms of services and all that garbage. It's the fact that, especially with you people who are pro-privatization of everything, right? Y'all don't understand how society works. The Electoral College is made up of retired motherfucking old presidents and like motherfucking politicians who aren't as in the face of the media as often as they used to be, and bureaucrats. Now, do y'all know what motherfucking bureaucrats are? Let's look at bureaucrats. Bureaucrats. An official in a government department, in particular, one perceived as being concerned with the procedural correctness at the expense of people's needs. Now, a bureaucratic person literally could come from money. Like, y'all don't even realize, but a lot of our motherfucking laws and legislation come into play from people with money. People with money have play. Y'all watch Game of Thrones. The people that had the most pull, the elite folks of Westeros, were the people who were getting to choose to be a part of the government. They didn't even want the little people to pick who governed them because they're like, you're poor, the freak, you ain't got no say. And that's just not the case. That's just not the case. So when it comes to places like Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, yeah, these niggas are rich. but they have pull. Because of their wealth, they manipulate our politicians and our legislation that gets passed, right? Who do you think funds these people campaigns? The government ain't got no money. We've already established in a previous video that I made about talking about the police and such, but literally right before this. But the thing is that these people, they don't have, how do I say this where you guys can understand it? The more money that they have, the more pull that they have. They control these politicians. When you motherfucking fund these weirdos campaigns, you are funding them with the expectation that they are going to do something for you. And a lot of times that stuff benefits you. That's why there has not been any changes to the tax amount that comes that rich people have to pay. Because at the end of the day, why would politicians make it harder for motherfucking rich people and increase their taxes when they're the ones funding their campaigns? They're the reason why they're in office. Trump won the presidency not by the people. The people actually voted for that freaking crazy lady, Hillary Clinton. The Electoral College, which is full of a bunch of old politicians, bureaucrats, prestigious folks, elite folks who think they better than everybody else, rich folks, less than 400 of them, their little votes out-trumped us, millions of people, and would give them more power than the rest of us. What's the difference between them and us? Money. So with you crazies trying to privatize everything, even the privatization of things that should be government owned, like prisons. When your constitutional rights are violated, guess the freak what? You can't go to the Supreme Court. You can't go to the courts and sue them for constitutional violations. You can't sue them for civil rights violations. Why? Because the only one that is upheld by the Constitution is who? The government. The motherfucking Constitution, the Bill of Rights. We don't have protections of the First Amendment, freedom of speech, when it comes to platforms that are ran by the privately owned sector. It's not ran by the government. So the government ain't going to impose nothing. Why? Because at the end of the day, this gives them loopholes, because now they can get access from you. They can access information that pertains to you, which ideally would be deemed illegal. They can invade your privacy as long as they're not doing it directly. They are going through these third-party sources, which exempts them from any constitutional motherfucking control. So when you sit here and you push for these people to motherfucking, oh, I want to private own this and private. I mean, look at it now. It's set up like that with abortions, where abortions, if you go and have an abortion in one of these states that made it illegal, you can be sued by any and everybody, because there's no attachment to the government. You can't directly sue the government. So what does that leave room for? Them to come for you. So now you run the risk of, especially hospitals, these clinics, now they run the risk of potentially having thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people sue them for an endless amount of money for violating a law that was put into place by our government. However, they're piggybacking off of these third-party private institutions. Y'all keep making it easier for the government if you want to. You can't sit here and claim, oh, freedom of speech. Not on no Twitter, not on no Instagram. It's a privately owned motherfucking platform. It's not government owned.
Unfortunately, the reality in which we live in. Platforms have those terms of service for a reason. When you post content on them, you have to abide by them. Again, just FYI though, Andrew Tate was not the one who was posting those just let people know. It's so interesting to me that people are willing to take down Andrew Tate, but y'all do realize that all of these programs that we just saw him, at least not all of them, a good portion of them are him doing a stream or a podcast with somebody else, but y'all are not saying that they have to be banned or they have to take down their streams. I guess eventually they will, but he wasn't doing it. It was other people reposting the things that he was saying. All right, so yeah, if it's a terms of service, fine. But this is where I have to get Alpha Dog.
Oh, put your hands up.
Oh, no, not just hands.
The glass is off. Oh my goodness. A glass swap, bro. This is once in a lifetime shit, man. We've never seen this before. The ring? Where's my ring? Fuck, I came unprepared.
You came unprepared, man. Yeah, put the glasses on, man. Just put the glasses on, man. Let's be clear about what I'm about to say next. We as men are getting tired of y'all taming what we have to say, but not holding that same level of criticism to everyone else. It is amazing to me that we could react to a video where there is a black woman.
Are you really a man when you saying stuff like that? That's so childish. Why are you saying something to me? Why are you not saying nothing to her? She doing it too. Kitty.
On YouTube, sitting here saying that she wants to
take accountability of yourself and keep it moving. You trying to deflect. Oh, women don't take accountability. Neither do men. So we must all be women then.
Abort black male babies, and she has been on that site for 5 years with a verified account with over 100,000 subscribers and millions, tens of millions of viewerships on her page. Yet nobody doesn't say anything.
Nobody says anything because at the end of the day, black is at the bottom of the totem pole. If she was to say, let's kill black daughters, the same people still won't say anything. Why? Because they're black. Now, if she was promoting kill white babies, oh yeah, she would have been off. You wouldn't even be talking about her right now in this little video.
We're getting tired of the inconsistencies in which you are upholding people. We all know for a fact that the way that men are being treated versus women being treated in some capacities is not the same. And I'm getting tired of hearing that it isn't that way. I was in a Twitter space literally yesterday, and a woman was sitting here.
No, men and women aren't treated the same, which is why y'all need to stop talking about females are hoes for doing the same junk y'all said. You cannot sit here and preach, treat us all the same. And then at the same breath, you're dividing us into be treating differently. You're pushing the narratives.
Telling me society has made it just normal, or it's okay to push aside when a woman is being physically bopped. That's what she said. That's what she said. She said that society has made it normal to where it's okay for women to be bopped, and we just sweep it underneath the rug.
I was on a stream 2 days ago, and it was relationship therapy. A woman came in, and she was explaining how she beat her boyfriend's ass, and no one batted a word. I was still like, hold on, wait, you did.
It is so socially normal for women to put their hands on men, and nobody don't care about it, that they will openly admit it. Not only did you say it, bro, Ronda Rousey in her book openly admit
she beat someone
to her boyfriend.
Damn, she's a UFC fighter.
And she's a professional fighter. Yep. And she openly admitted that. Do you think
that is?
Yeah. So again, we all know that there are inequalities in the way that we levy criticism, men versus women. We know this already. But for whatever reason, when it comes to men and us having a voice in these spaces, every time it's being silenced, it's being tamed, it's being stripped from what actually the purpose of it is. Every single time we do this thing, y'all sit here and y'all take people's words out of context and make it seem like they're saying something that they're actually not. Y'all did this with Kevin Samuels as well. Everybody doesn't agree with everything that they're saying, but when y'all sit there and purposefully take words out of context and sit here and try to tell what men are and are not supposed to be saying, and then even when they say it, oh, it needs to be tamed, it needs to be put in this tone, it needs to be said like this. No, because for years, women had no problem with sitting here using being gay as a tool or instrument to incite some form of put down to men. Women had no problem at all openly admitting that they don't mind.
Being gay is a put down to men? What? How is it a put down? Because you want her and can't get her because she likes somebody else? Oh my goodness. Y'all are cry baby. Y'all cry about every motherfucking thing. Every motherfucking thing. Oh my God. the biggest crybabies be the ones that raised in matriarchal households, I swear. And y'all be the biggest misogynistic fellas. And it don't make no sense because you raised by a woman. It's always your grandma, your mama that raised y'all. And y'all still come out misogynistic. And then niggas be trying to like, oh, well, he's not misogynistic. He has a girlfriend. He's married. Just like they be like, he's not gay. He's married to a woman and have kids. Like the Bible says, humans, we look at things on the outside. We look on the outside appearance and make our judgments, and our judgments be hella wrong. Hella wrong. Good thing God looks at the heart, because you could look like a polished motherfucking individual, and the whole time you just a polished turd. You're a turd deep down inside in your heart, but on the outside, you look squared away. Y'all are something else, man.
And raping men if they deny them of sex. Women have no problem at all seeing here saying that they don't mind putting their hands on men, or at least openly acknowledging it. We just went through a whole Amber Heard situation where she openly admitted it on phone. Hey, who you think they're gonna believe? Yes, Johnny, you're the one who is the victim. She openly admitted it.
Yes, because it's true. I said the same thing when this nigga was talking smack to me at the motherfucking gym. And it had nothing to do with him. The situation was between me and another guy at the gym. And then both kids, one 16, one 21 or 20. My issue initially was with a 16-year-old kid who took something that I said out of context. He was trying to bully me into getting next on the thing. And normally I just let it go because I don't know. I'm just like, you know what? It's cool. I'll wait or whatever. But I didn't want to wait because I'm like, you know what? Even when I'm next, I still be letting y'all go. I'm tired of it. I'm standing up for myself. So me and this kid kept going back and forth about who got next. And then he was like, well, I got next. And so I said to him, okay, well, put on the gloves and let's box for it. Now, I ain't say it like, oh, I'm pissed at you. We about to fight. Like, I'm saying like, okay, you want next? If you beat me in a 3-minute, 1-round sparring match, you can have next. In my mind, that's equivalent to shooting for next. The only thing is, I didn't want to shoot for next because I know without a shadow of a doubt I had next. Because I strategically went up to every single person in that motherfucking gym and asked them, do you have next? Then after everybody said no, I yelled out, I got next! And everybody motherfucking looked at me like I was motherfucking crazy. And even people were saying like, yeah, I remember you saying that. But this one nigga want to be like, nah, that never happened. And so the people heard me say that, like, oh, we can put on the gloves and box. I'm a female saying this to a dude. So they started dragging him. I walked away. I didn't even pay no attention to it, but I could see it. You know, when I do look down there, I could see him in the face. He wasn't looking right. So I'm like, what? So I'm still trying to get next out there. And this dude's still trying to bully me. Long story short, we ended up arguing. And I'm like, dude, what the freak is you mad for? Now you a womanizer? You ready to, you over here talking about, because he was squaring up and getting all in my face like that was scaring me. And I'm like, nigga, I would take you. Like, come, like who? Anyways, he's talking about getting his sister, getting this person. I'm like, nigga, you can get whomever. I'll take y'all all. Like, to me, this is cardio, you know? And this other guy, 20-year-old, he comes in trying to get in the conversation. And he starts talking junk. And then that's what I'm like, hold on, you a whole dude trying to help another dude. Like, it ain't even nothing that serious. Take the penis out your mouth and get the freak out my face. So he got pissed because I said that, and then he told me to suck his penis. Now, this is the same kid that I done seen him in the gym. He'll throw the ball. You know how the ball roll on one side and they just randomly pick up the ball and just launch it. He had did that, and this kid that worked at, well, he ain't a kid, he a grown man, but he like 20-something. He worked at the gym. He got hit in the head when he threw the ball. So as soon as he got hit in the head, now this kid's a hothead. So he like, who the freak threw that ball? Da-da-da. He talking all that. The same nigga that told me to suck his penis, motherfucker folded to this dude. He grabbed his stuff so damn quick and started to head out. And dude was like, oh, you think you could hide? I work here, nigga. I got access to the cameras. I'm going to look on the cameras and see who threw that ball. The boy disappeared for days. We ain't see him again. But now this nigga want to invite me to suck his penis. And I told that dude, you got to fold just like I got to fold. Because ain't no man going to sit here and get in the mix of a situation that ain't got squat to do with him. And it's between a guy and a female. He don't need your assistance. He's not in danger. If he was, you would have been having to pull me off him, not talk to me. And this nigga went crazy at the lips, and I told him, you know, you're gay. You're booty bandit. You're booty bandit. I ain't see that nigga back at the gym since. But the truth of the matter is that y'all niggas is lame. Okay? Y'all sit here and you want to call females out for stuff that y'all do yourselves. And then y'all do stuff. Because they was even talking like, oh, well, you could get arrested. The cops come, you getting arrested. First off, I'm sitting here like, all y'all niggas over here talking junk to me. You and the 16-year-old kid talking junk to me over a game that I got next for. And all I said to the nigga was put on the gloves and whoever win the spar match got next. And now I got to deal with all this. And then now all of a sudden y'all talking about calling cops. For what? Because I beat the dog mess out of you? Who calling the cops? Because I'm not calling on y'all. I know when the cops come, I'm a female. I can motherfucking manipulate that to make y'all look terrible because y'all dudes. You know what I'm saying? Even though it is to some degree like weird because the whole argument developed because me and the 16-year-old kid going back and forth about who got next. And then this random 21-year-old kid want to come in talking crazy. And everybody in there heard him talking crazy. And I got homies in there. But he tried to say, well, when the cops come here, you could get arrested. Who calling them? You? You gonna try and get me arrested? When that could backfire? Y'all two dudes coming for a female. Society has a structure. The way society views me is the same way y'all view me. The way you feel that you could just take my turn even though I had next. That's the same way society views it. She's docile. She's in the gym just trying to get her fitness going. She's incapable of whooping these kids. The kid's going to jail. Especially when everybody in there is saying, well, she had next, they came to her, they was being extra. So who going to jail? I told those niggas, if the cops come, you going to jail. I'm a female, remember? Y'all two dudes, remember? And y'all ain't no kids. In New York, this nigga's old enough to go to motherfucking adult jail, the adult prison. And y'all black. So even if you were a kid, they look at y'all as adults. This is what I'm telling the niggas. It's not me saying it like, oh, I'm going to use this spitefully. It's me letting you know, look at the issues that exist in society. And where you think this is going to work in your favor, nigga, it won't. There's a great possibility that it won't.
For my life, too.
I've heard it as well.
Who do you think
they're going to believe? So, fair enough. If you all want...
She ain't wrong. Just because she said that doesn't mean she had malice intent. It's just saying she's a docile looking white woman compared to strung out motherfucking Johnny Depp. He's a dude. If anything, and a lot of people made fun of him when she had the turd. Because before anybody even seen any of the evidence, and people were just talking about the stuff that she did, people was making fun of him like, oh, he was getting hit on by a woman. She pooped on his bed. They was clowning him. But then when they seen the evidence and seen how the attorneys were manipulating the stories to fit a certain narrative. Now it's oh my goodness. Look at this. Men, we're not violent abusers. Look at this. In this rare instance, look at this woman abusing him. Look at this. And there's no justice for him. Y'all, actor skills is terrible.
To silence certain men because you think their rhetoric is going to push beyond some form of violence in real life, fair enough. If you believe it breaks terms of service, fair enough. We just asked for some form of consistency. Bro, we just sat here and saw Erika Banks twerk in the front of a bunch of high schoolers. A grown woman doing a sexual act to a bunch of teenagers. And it's just on Twitter. Who cares? She just did that. She did it.
Also, Boosie motherfreaking had his 11-year-old son or 10-year-old son and nephews. Motherfreaking, he took them to have sex with grown women. So, yes, what she's doing is wrong by all means necessary. However, society sees nothing wrong with this because they see a grown woman just making some boys men. I have an uncle whose biological father took him to grown women prostitutes when he was a child and have him lose his virginity to a prostitute to make him a man. His own daddy did that. Just like Boosie's son, his own daddy did that. So you cannot be mad at her for what she's doing when society has permitted this behavior all along. They're still permitting it.
Coordinate, everything is fine. If a man did that exact same thing to a bunch of women, he did a sexual act to a bunch of teenage girls, oh, he'd get canceled immediately. Just like that. Just like that.
So what you're saying is...
Just to be consistent.
There's no consistency.
There's no consistency. So that's my second point. My third and final point is this.
There's no consistency with any of your points. You're all over the place and you're contradicting yourself.
Y'all think y'all getting rid of Andrew Tate is going to change anything. I'm sorry to tell you, it's not.
It's too late.
It's way too late.
There are like millions of people that's going to copy what he did.
Too late. He already has proven. He's proven that this works. The next person is, hey, I'm going to do exactly what he did. And it may even be something. It may even be even more extreme. But it's too late. So instead of trying to attack the image or the caricature, what the actual problem is, address the concern and actually.
The character, not caricature. A caricature is a cartoon drawing of a person. Y'all niggas love to sound taught or sound smart, and y'all be using words out of context. You like Andrew Tate making up words. I mean,
listen to men when they're voicing their concerns and problems instead of pushing it aside. In the same Twitter space that I was in, we were talking about men's problems and things like that. Immediately it was like, well, it doesn't really matter. That doesn't
men's
really
problems
matter.
get dismissed quick. Huh?
Dismissed immediately.
Quick.
Immediately.
It is what it is.
And that I don't think it is what it is, because then once more, especially if you want to continue to remove people like Andrew Tate, it's going to be another one that exists, because all as men, we sit here and we look at this. We look at the reality and we like, yo, me or someone in general?
You.
No, I think from a societal standpoint, men's problems should be taken way more serious.
Yeah, I
way
agree
more
with you,
serious.
Every time I say it is what it is.
of course. However, just like you feel that there's things that's not taken seriously when it comes to men, the same thing applies to women. Rape actually happens. And the crazy part about it is that there's an ever increasing male population of those who are being raped. And yes, women are rapists. Women are rapists. However, that doesn't negate the fact that a lot of the people that are raped by men. And it doesn't matter if the victim is a female or a man, a mother freaking child, boy, or a girl. And these are issues that get swept under the rug. The same thing with domestic violence, where you feel domestic violence situations, nothing comes from them. When girlfriends are beating on boyfriends, nothing comes from them when boyfriends are beating on girlfriends, when husbands are beating on wives, when husbands are excessively abusing their wife and their children. I mean, don't get me started. Please don't get me started, because this is my thing, man. Criminal justice is my thing. Anything pertaining to criminal justice is my thing.
Because there's not much you can do about it.
Oh no, but what I'm saying, you're right. But I think that if men are just asking for their problems to be taken more seriously, and when we voice those problems and concerns, that they are being heard and not just pushed aside, then we need to we need to understand that's all we're asking for. And if you give us that at bare minimum, I don't think that there's going to be that many men that are willing to be consumed by Andrew Tate's rhetoric that could then result into.
That's untrue. That is untrue. People love to dwell on this imaginary concept that there's more good than evil out here. The Bible says, ain't none good but the Father. There is nothing righteous on this earth, for we are all full of sin. The moment we come out the womb, we know sin. Okay? This is why you got children doing things that they shouldn't do. This is why you got adults doing things that they shouldn't do. The Bible talks about this, that the things that we know that we should do, we don't do. And the things that we know that we shouldn't do, we have a hard time with refraining from doing. Why? Because of our flesh. Our flesh is waging war with our motherfucking spirit. Our flesh wants us to engage in our fleshly desires, whether if that's rape, whether if that's kill. Because a lot of people like to talk about instincts, but instincts ain't nothing but your flesh. It's Satan talking to you and saying, hey, you should do that. No. You are more strong refraining from indulging in those fleshly desires than you are if you went into them. Just saying. It may be your instinct to procreate with a bunch of women. However, that's your flesh telling you that, because your spirit is telling you, don't you stick that thing in all those vaginas. Don't you open your legs to all those penises. Is that your husband? Is that your wife? Do you really want to risk mother freaking something happening to you, whether you get pregnant, you catch an STD? You know what I'm saying?
Some form of violence in the real world. I don't believe that is the case, because those men just want to be heard. They just want to be felt. They just want to be respected. That's all they want. But when they dig down the rabbit hole of the dark side of the internet, and they end up on Andrew Tate or Ben Shapiro or 4chan or wherever they end up on, then we can't sit here and act as if like those men are not going to exist anymore because y'all just sit here and ban this nigga. Or y'all ban Ben Shapiro, or you ban Alex Jones, or you ban whoever y'all want to ban. They still exist. The fact that y'all are banning Andrew Tate let you know that they still exist. They existed back when y'all did that to Alex Jones, Ben Shapiro. Now with him, they still exist. So y'all acting like they don't exist is ridiculous, bro.
But more importantly, let's not pretend like these social media platforms have a backbone.
That's another thing.
Most of them
they don't
couldn't
care.
give less a fuck what he's talking about. If he makes them money, they will keep him on the platform.
Facts.
If they think they'll lose money by keeping him on the platform, they will pack his ass up. They're making money moves. They couldn't give less a fuck about your political views. They will side with whatever political view will get them to the bread. You feel me?
I'm gonna tell you right now, Facebook, IG in particular, you can suck my fucking fat dick, nigga. Instagram has been the leading cause of depression amongst millennials and Gen Z for years at this point. Years. Y'all pick conveniency when y'all want to uphold certain laws, restrictions, and rules to people, which I find very, very idiotic.
Wouldn't let me. I have good people in the case. I trust due process with Instagram. I'm actually quite understanding of their position.
Due process doesn't apply to a social media platform. It's just matters of the government. Like, y'all, some ignorant motherfuckers.
I do understand it very, very well. I'm not angry at them in any regard. It's not a big loss for me. It's not something I use too often. But I do understand their position, because we're actually living in a world now where it's kind of strange. This is an unprecedented period of human history. And we have internet sensationalism, global sensationalism on a scale which has never happened before. And also we have the ability to edit things so quickly, right? So you can say something on a stream and they can remove all context, or you can say something and they can change the tone of your voice, or you can say something.
It's already happened to me many times, yes.
Exactly. And then what they can do is they can throw that in front of a hate mob, and then internet sensationalism can take control, and people can start to believe in narratives which are false, and then people have to take some kind of action against that. So I understand all these things.
Which the same thing happens when he talks this one-sided information. Like, literally, once upon a time, right? We can actually, motherfreaking, confirm this with documentation. But once upon a time, you couldn't post anything on social media unless it was a well-rounded, take, right? So if I wanted to say that, I don't know, men be out here cheating more than females, right? I couldn't just say men be out here cheating more than females and then show all this evidence as to why it's just men out here cheating more than females. So I literally had to, I'm able to spread my stance on it, right? I'm able to spread my stance on it. But at the same time, I still had to include an opposing view just so the person could get a well-rounded take of what the freak it is that I'm talking about. But let me show y'all. Give me a second. I gotta remember what it's called. Oh, goodness gracious. But once upon a time, that was the requirement. And then our motherfreaking, people in power, Congress and all of them, passed this stupid legislation that basically got rid of that. That says, you don't have to do that anymore. The Fairness Doctrine. There we go. I had to remember what the freak it was called. But I'm trying to show you what it is, right? Here it is. So the Fairness Doctrine took effect shortly after the creation of the Federal Radio Commission, FRC, in 1927 and was continued by its successor, the FCC, until the late 1980s. In its 1929 Great Lakes Broadcasting Company decision, the FRC asserted that the public interest requires ample play for the free and fair competition of opposing views, and the commission believes that the principle applies to all discussions of issues of importance to the public. So that means anything that you thought that was detrimental for the public to know, you can, yes, tell them your theory and then give them all the evidence that supports your theory, but at the same time, you had to include free and fair competitive opposed view. Okay, which means that you have to include a take that is opposite yours, so it is well balanced. The Fairness Doctrine tried to ensure broadcast coverage of controversial issues was balanced, but then they got rid of this. When did they get rid of it? 1987. The FCC abolished the Fairness Doctrine, prompting some to urge its reintroduction through either commission policy or congressional legislation. However, later, the FCC removed the rule that implemented the policy from the Federal Register in August 11th, or 2011. So now, this is why we see all this motherfreaking one-sided motherfreaking takes out here. Because of this right here. This right here. So you want to complain? Complain to FF or the FCC.
Understand that with great power and great influence comes great responsibility. And I'm very understanding of the situation. I think that I'm a strongly religious man. I believe that God will prevail, the truth will prevail.
Right.
The one thing that's a little bit annoying, I mean, because a lot of people have been insulting me for a long time on all platforms. And that's fine. It really doesn't bother me because I'm an extremely strong person. I know that some people would be very, very uncomfortable in my position. Not many people can sleep at night with the kind of death threats I've been getting. But for me, it's been fine, right?
You're getting death threats?
Oh, yeah. And this is the thing that's crazy, right? So I would get 10 to 20,000 death threats a day.
But I do think what I've done, I think he gets.
He caps about his ranges a lot.
Yeah, no. I think he gets those threats though for sure, but not the amount that you just said. 10 to 20 is.
Right.
Come on,
millions
come on,
a year.
Come on, Andrew. Come on.
Via Instagram.
Via Instagram.
And they would take no action, even if I reported them. However, they've now decided I'm the danger. And even the people who were supporting me, I was crazy, yeah. I was saying, look, if you're going to support me in public, if you're going to discuss things in comments, please do it respectfully, because hate on hate, it ain't going to get.
I have a question.
Right?
The guys saying in the DMs that are going to kill you. Be honest. If they saw you in person, you think they'd keep that same energy?
I know, of course not, but it's just about the fact that, there's a lot of hate around on the internet, and I don't believe that hate versus hate is going to win.
So Andrew, what I've learned on the internet now, it's a new generation of the internet. The internet is different now, and whatever you say that is hateful gets more likes, more clicks, and it gets more attention. Yeah. Because listen,
that's nothing new. It's always been like that. I.e., that's why the news only includes bad stuff. They try to include good stuff, and them niggas barely get a view.
You probably get thousands of comments that are showing love and praisal, right? But the ones that stick out the most are the hate ones. The ones that are like, he's really saying that shit. So that's why they do it. They do it because they want the clicks, they want the attention, they want the likes. That's really why they do it.
And it's really interesting about how it's going to shape the world, right? Because, like I said, with great power comes great responsibility. Now I have millions and millions of people who are my fans. And I was literally teaching them and telling them on Instagram 3 days ago, if you want to defend me, then stick up for me in a respectful way. Even if they're insulting me or threatening my life, do it in a respectful way, because just arguing back and forth in a bitter, immature, hate-on-hate way isn't going to work. Show that if you're a fan of Andrew Tate, you're a respectful person. And I was trying to teach respect to all these...
Because your fans aren't respectful. If you slapping females and manipulating them to get what you want out of them, nigga, what the freak you think they gonna do to people in freaking social media comments? You're crazy to think otherwise. These
millions of young men. And now, who knows where they're going to go, right? And you're right. It's kind of crazy where the internet has all these black holes of pure degeneracy or hatred because that's what gets the most views, and it's a shame.
It does. It does. Now, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah. So I think there's ways in which Andrew Tate could be skewing what he's saying, but once more, things like that just don't get shown. And it was the same thing with Kevin Samuels, where y'all don't show the full context of what people are saying. He has openly stated several times to people, stop spreading hate to other people who are also spreading hate, because it's not going to get you nowhere. And once more, Kevin Samuels and various other people would say the same thing, but y'all would just take them out of context purposefully because you want to push a narrative. And all I'm saying is just be consistent. That's all I really, really want, because it comes across as extremely unfair as a man's point of view when y'all sit here and y'all don't uphold TOS or certain rules and regulations to other parts of the community. I think it's very unfair, and I do believe this does nothing more but add more validity to who Andrew Tate was and what he stands for. And trust me when I say 2 months will be another Andrew Tate. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But hey, man, those are our thoughts. If you want to,
I mean, there you have it. This video has been long enough, so I love y'all. Peace, man. Remember, stay prayed up. Stay in your Bible. Watch as well as pray. Peace. If you want people to think otherwise of you more positively, then give them more positive experiences.